Do you have memories, dreams, or visions of other worlds or lifetimes? Are you highly empathetic or sensitive to energy? Do you feel a deep sense of not belonging on Earth? Well, Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is usually the correct one.
Yeah.
And so it's likely that you are a soul that originated from another planet on a mission to help humanity evolve. John, I got a question for you. Better answer now. And don't worry about this, John. Don't start stressing about getting it right or wrong, because this is an easy one.
Yeah.
Which type of starseed are you? Palladian, Arcturian, or are you one of the bad boys of the bunch? Would you please welcome to the starseed community, Blue Avian?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a Blue Avian. I got that.
I think so too.
I got that.
I think I'm Blue Avian too. This is like when
black leather jacket kind of aliens.
This is just like when somebody else would choose the same Ninja Turtle as you in the playground, and you get angry because you go like, "No, I'm Raphael. I'm the tortured soul.
I'm cool but rude."
Yeah, I'm cool but rude. But John's gone for Blue Avian as well, and I definitely feel Blue Avian.
Okay.
Today we are talking about the best thing that has definitely come up on John's Instagram timeline recently, if I am to judge by exactly what he's been sending me every day, hundreds and hundreds
It's true.
of videos.
It's actually true.
So we're talking light languages, and then maybe even kind of a little aside from that, very connected starseeds.
Yeah.
I want to talk about. We're going to talk about everything that's
related worlds.
What's going on on light language TikTok. And don't worry, it's not cringy at all. We're gonna shine a light language on some of our favorite creators in the space.
It's good.
We're going to talk about how social media
codes.
We're going to receive some codes. We're going to talk about how social media is opening these beautiful channels of communication to a whole new audience. We're going to talk a little bit deeper about what's going on here at maybe a wider societal level. And then by the end of the episode, John, we're going to be communicating in our own Don't Praise the Machine light language that me and John have definitely been channeling for at least the last couple of days.
Yeah. Can't stop.
And you got to stick around until the end of the episode, because I am going to use the Starseed subreddit to give everyone in the audience the test, and they will know by episode's end unequivocally if they themselves are a starseed, are inhabited by an extraterrestrial soul from another planet. I can guarantee it. But as we always say on the show, guarantee void in Tennessee. That's Paul Anka's guarantee from The Simpsons, which is very apt for this episode, because we might even touch on Paul Anka's brother, Bashar.
Oh, far out.
Isn't that apt, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he was Paul Anka's brother.
He is Paul Anka's brother. So, John.
How interesting.
Yeah, isn't that great? John, please tell me what kind of videos you started seeing on your Instagram timeline recently, and tell me why you felt such a vibrational shift that has led you on this path of self-exploration, where you said, let me help you understand what's gone wrong in your life, Al, because these people on TikTok and Instagram have explained to me what's wrong with mine.
Yeah.
And sure, I've lost a lot of friends, but I've made a lot of friends.
Exactly.
New friends.
Exactly. New friends, new communities, new credit cards to cover the conferences and the courses and the
a lot
retreats.
Of courses. It's a complex language with a lot of grammatical rules that you can't slip up on.
I mean, as you know, I studied a little bit of philosophy of language in my time. I like language. I like linguistics. And so I was thrilled because I thought I was going to have to learn. I thought maybe Spanish would be a good language to know. I tried it. It was quite difficult. And then I thought, what am I going to do? Then I started getting these videos for a much more accessible and exciting option, which is light language. And so we'll come to them, I'm sure, and many of the people listening and watching will have some idea, even if they don't know that they were watching a light language video or a starseed, even if they didn't know they were watching a starseed in action. they they definitely were. So basically, the first time I saw it, I reckon, was somebody that will come to. I'll just get her name up. Actually,
is it? Can I guess? Is it official Akura, the German starseed?
Yeah, so she was probably the second one.
Okay.
The first one I saw was someone called Starseed Sasha.
Okay, so can you, if you send me Starseed Sasha, John, then maybe I can play her for the audience.
Sasha Starseed, I should say.
Sasha Starseed.
Sasha Starseed, and she.
Yes, I believe the surname is pronounced the seed. Sasha Starseed.
Sasha Starseedson, and she's your classic light language proponent. And what she's producing content which is pretty typical of your Starseed / light language practitioner community member, which will consist of her. One of the things we love, and I love about the alternative medicines and healing and wellness community, is the use of hand gestures that are essentially fatuous but look very sophisticated, sort of like a very pretentious DJ who might be kind of making unnecessary moves on the board, and she's doing that in a kind of transcendental way where she's very
like that.
Yeah, she's doing little twisties. She's doing little twisties, and she's making up kind of gibberish language as she's doing it. Well, I say that. I mean, that's a very cynical leading take on what this is. She would say what she is doing is light language. And what is light language, you say? Well, if you try and find the answer to that question, you will become so immersed in a maelstrom of jargon and nonsense. But I've come up with a couple of I've come across, I should say, a couple of definitions which I think are kind of fairly typical. So first one, do you want me to get to those now? Can I
why don't you get to those?
Yeah.
Get to those, and then we'll give people an example.
Yeah, good idea.
Prime them, and then we will help you guys start to understand. You thought French was beautiful as a language to listen to. You just wait. You just fucking wait.
Exactly. So light language. It's a channeled multidimensional language, right? So far, so good, which brings sound and energy from spiritual into physical. It's been described as a form of sound healing that can help us connect with a higher realm of consciousness, and it communicates to the soul. It's not something you have to understand with your mind, but it's something you feel deep inside your heart, and it brings powerful vibrations and codes that support us to process shifts in consciousness, release deeply held blockages. We love that. We love releasing a blockage, and brings us in touch with our truth. It is here to awaken and activate. It is here to assist in the ascension process. It is truly one of the most powerful healing tools I have experienced as someone. This is a second definition. It's a form of communication that bypasses human limitations around the meaning of words. It is a vibrational expression that speaks directly to our soul and DNA. And we'll come to this, but I mean, that's kind of those definitions incorporated into them are several of the concepts that you come across in light language. Things like ascension, things like codes, things like communicating directly to your soul, to your unconscious, to your, often people talk about DNA and cells, and we're going to talk about that.
There's a science. It's not just airy-fairy. There's a deep science to it on a cellular level.
They love kind of appropriating the language of biology and talking about how it can help you with actual physiological blockages. But yeah, let's dive into an example of what constitutes light language.
Do you want me to share? Yeah. So this, John, this is going to be the first light language practitioner that I really connected with and
Okay.
started to think that maybe I was a star, that I was a starseed. And also spoke to me because I think she's German or either Austrian. I believe her name is Akura, and I'm just bringing up her Instagram page. So I believe that she is a German lady, and she goes by official Akura. I've got her Instagram page up here. She's a public figure, and she's got in her bio. This is very similar to my Instagram bio, actually. She's guiding the New Earth leaders in ascension, as you just mentioned, John.
Love it.
She's a Reiki master. That's another theme that we love on the show. She's divine feminine. I've had that in my bio for years. And then she's also, of course, I mean, she didn't need to put this. It's just obvious. She's an 11D Arcturian. And she does it.
Love it. Yeah.
And of course, she offers psychic readings because you got to put food on the. Even starseeds need to put food on the table.
Sure. And they've got people like me. I mean, I'm probably like a 1A Arcturian. I need to ascend, and that costs money.
It's going to cost money, and then she can take you up there. And it also says here 5D guidance. I love that they've gone beyond the fourth dimension and taken it to 5. They're in the 5th. 5D guidance, healings, and meditation. But I got a great video here from official Akura.
Okay.
She's got a striking look. And so I'm going to bring her up to you now, John, and for our audience. Right. And so I'm going to share my screen here. And I think we can all just
enjoy that.
We can all just enjoy that. So
yeah.
This is a bit of light language, and she's channeling
sounds like it's just a bit of light language.
Nothing too heavy.
Nothing too bad. Just a few shits and darns, not nothing bad. Yeah.
She is channeling blue avian extraterrestrial soul in this one.
Okay.
But again, like that just becomes obvious as soon as I start playing it. So
avians.
I'm just gonna replay it. I think. Well, 1 second. Hang on. I want to get it from the start.
The energy of the blue avians. Activate your blueprint.
Beautiful.
We have support from the Syrian High Council. The blue avians are Syrians.
Yeah, so I could listen to that all day. That is channeling Blue Avian. The Blue Avians are Syrians, which I didn't realize. I thought there was a distinction between... So Syrian with an I, by the way. It's just not the troubled people of the world.
Bashar al-Assad is famous. He's a famous Arcturian.
That would be so great if she picked him, because she famously does. She loves to she said that I've seen a video of hers where she says that Princess Diana was a starseed.
Wow, fantastic.
But I would love the idea that just one of these hippy dippy people just started picking dictators and saying they were starseeds.
Totally. Ceausescu was a starseed.
Starseed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
a good demonstration.
Yeah.
Can I suggest one more just to get us rolling?
Please send it over. Do you want to send it over, John?
Yeah,
or is it
I've sent it on WhatsApp.
Oh, yes.
And it's a good... It's another potentially, certainly European, may or may not be German, I don't know.
It's huge over here.
Yeah, they love it. Rhea Loveguard.
We love over-regulation and light language in Europe. These are what we do best.
Exactly.
Chocolate, cheese, regulation, right-wing populist parties, and light language.
Now, I always thought a rear love guard was something that you brought to a swingers party if you weren't ready to do anything yet. But but it
Love
turns
guard.
out it's a star seed. And I
Yeah,
like this video
okay.
because she does a bit of a beginner's guide to the different variations of light language.
Okay. Which would be a good primer again
Yeah.
for for our audience. Okay. Let's have a
She's
look at
also
it
offering the
here.
light language starseeds and 5D business.
Yeah, okay, man.
So many
Fuck,
Ds.
my business.
I think we should
I
get
think
in
my
a-
business. I thought my business was suffering from terrible mismanagement, but it just didn't have enough dimensions.
Exactly.
Uh,
And we need to get
It's
in
like-
on the 6D business bandwagon.
No, not 5D business. 6-minute business. It's like the 7-minute abs. For a little bit of a something about Mary reference there.
There you go.
For everybody. Okay, so let me just share my screen
yeah.
here, John. Can you tell me when she's coming up? Here we go. Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
So,
Ada a ikeruduruma adena usu ure era. That was Syrian, now Acturian.
Syrian.
It's
It's got a bit more of an Arabic vibe.
Yeah,
this
I
one.
know. That one's
Feels
kind
like
of offensive.
Let's go to Pleiadian. Now, Lyran feline.
Lyran feline.
Lyran avian. Kritala sikuru suru dia sartila tia sulu ya sira tia sulu karsika tradia nuruturi sitra la sira kuluturu tura kasika la. Now to Earth civilization, Lemuria and Atlantis. Lemurian first. Ena akame tukusukumane katame ita ame kalatane ne tuto nata. Now Atlantean. Ishak arakateka sakutu kushek shikarakasika namaratu sturu aradia radar. They
sort of running together a bit. Really.
Yeah, I was struggling a little bit there to pick up the difference between Arcturian and Alpha Centurion.
Atlantean.
And the second one just sounded like the Qatar Airways safety announcement to me. I felt like I was about to land.
It's true.
In Doha.
Yeah.
That's how when I was listening to that one.
They're sort of borrowing a bit from that neck of the woods, aren't they? Kind of North Africa and the Middle East. It's all Syrian and Arabic.
And when she did say Blue Avian, it did have a little bit more of a bird song. It's the first time I've kind of connected the avian thing to going, oh, this one's a little bit more chirpy.
Yeah.
A bit more chirpy bird. I mean,
exactly.
It sounds fun. That's what I love about all of these.
It does. Got a little bit of, I mean, yeah, maybe we can get into it. But one of the things I like about it is that it's really a phenomenon so much for and of our times because it blends together so many things that have been kind of in the hamper of the alternative wisdom community for a long time. Strange hand gestures, slightly kind of ASMR-ish vibes.
Very ASMR vibes.
Yeah. And a sense that we can come back to that if you're someone who just feels like you never fit in, if your family is estranged from you, maybe that's not because you've gone in the wrong direction in your life or have a psychological issue that needs to be addressed. Maybe it's because you're an alien in a human body.
So that was Superstar Seed, which is a great name too. Superstar Seed. Enter in the dance floor, to me we begin. Rise up in the center, they watch me dim. Superstar Seed, hey, can you feel the pressure? Does some wine? That's Superstar Seed by Groove Armada that we all remember. Now, John, I just want to get to somebody so that we don't forget because
Yeah.
there's a lot to cram in here, and you've
Yeah.
been sending me a lot of this, man, and I would like for you to maybe you can use him to help everybody understand. Talk a little bit about Monarch,
Yeah, the butterfly, I like to call him.
the butterfly man.
So his coach Monarch, he's a real interesting looking guy. He talked in one video actually about how when he was 13 or 14, he got alopecia and all of his hair fell out.
Yes,
And he
I had a bit of empathy for him.
I know.
there.
Totally. But he talked about that as, well, he misinterpreted that as a sign that he was from a different galaxy. And in fact, it's just an autoimmune condition. But he saw that as the kind of first sign of his, becoming as an alien starseed. And then he talked about, having authoritarian parental figures, being driven to succeed, and eventually kind of rejecting all of that and becoming Coach Monarch. So he is an interesting looking dude, not just because he's hairless, but because he's sort of embraced that to kind of make himself look a bit more otherworldly, I would say, and dresses in a very kind of otherworldly way, and has this sort of glassy-eyed, penetrating stare to him, which is
piercing blue eyes like yourself, John.
He has,
but then he also throws
eyes.
like a piercing blue eye filter over everything. So you're just like, oh Jesus, you're just getting smashed with. He's really ramped the saturation up on his Instagram videos.
Yeah, so he just looks very smooth and kind of iridescent, and he's, I actually had a bit of an experience early on with his videos. There's one where his reels, one where he was talking to someone who was kind of straddling him in light language, and they were just exchanging light language which sort of sounded a bit like the way that Jabba the Hutt talks in Star Wars. They're going, he's staring up into her eyes and she's looking down at him, and they're going, Hababuga Chiradida. And then someone commented YHWH Trey commented, does anyone know how one goes about learning this language, or is it just intuitively received? That 16 weeks ago, 13 weeks ago, and I helpfully responded, it's abject nonsense. And and that got a bunch of likes. I mean, which highlights the point that a lot of people do, I guess, kind of inadvertently add momentum to this material by liking and sharing and commenting on it because they find it funny and cringe and insane.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of these people would get, like, a huge proportion of the comments thread. Some of it will be people going, can I join your ayahuasca retreat or whatever? And then a lot of it will be people going, this is nuts. Like, are you scamming people, or do you genuinely believe that you're an alien? Blah, blah, blah. Or people like me just trying to steer YWHY Trey away from committing to the retreat. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. And, in a field that, I don't know this for sure, but I've seen a couple of male practitioners, but probably more female practitioners. So Monarch is an interesting, he's breaking the Palladian ceiling, I like to call it.
I can bring him up here. I have one where I think he's delivering some sort of a message.
Okay.
And so if I understand correctly, he believes quite firmly that he is like channeling, like, again, a starseed. He's channeling an extraterrestrial soul.
Right. Yeah.
Which I also love as well, because it's this very new age thing where it purports to be helping, these people purport to be helping humanity, which seems like a very selfless act, but then it all just screams a kind of the most troubling levels of egocentrism that you can imagine. Like it's
kind of insanely self-aggrandizing to think,
like,
I've been brought to this world to save it. I mean, the kind of thing that people present to emergency mental health departments with.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I thought the same thing.
Mm.
So I'm going to share with you now. Let's bring up Monarch. He wears great outfits. The outfits remind me very much of the outfits that I saw when I would be in London and I would see the ABBA 3D hologram show. The ABBA band members are wearing pretty much the same thing that Monarch wears.
Right.
So
yeah.
this is he.
Channeled message from the Council of Light, the Council of Creation. As light continues to dissolve all illusions, all true forms will be revealed. Within the leaders in all
there's a
governing
council.
bodies, with the leaders
There's a lot of
the
that, isn't there?
entertainment industry,
Yeah.
within the leaders of social media. You will see those shifting their form within the public eye.
That's us.
You will see reptilians and all Starseeds beginning to reveal themselves as light continues to permeate this reality. Nothing will be safe hidden anymore as everything continues to be exposed.
Thank you so much for that.
He's got a ring light, and he's used that to create effect.
Yes, he does create that in his piercing eyes.
I mean, he's maybe part of his brain's broken, but he's got presentation skills.
That's right. He still knows how to do lighting.
Exactly.
Lighting. I mean, Starseeds are renowned for their ability to light.
Lighting language.
Lighting language.
Yeah. So it's fascinating because, we've talked previously on the show very early on about the art of almost touching and how, which is this kind of idea that like things like Reiki, it always involves these like subtle hand movements or sounds or like things that are kind of so insubstantial and vaguely described that they become very versatile because you can sort of just, you can say, I'm doing this for healing. I'm doing this for manifesting. I'm doing this because I'm an alien. You can sort of slot this thing into anything, and also you can just kind of improvise it. I mean, when that Raya Loveguard was doing that, 7 forms of light language from different, galactic civilizations, as though she's sort of presenting it as though she's demonstrating knowledge and skills.
Yes.
And I sort of think, well, I could fucking do that. All right, here's the bloody Dotchorians and, Hagadagadi. I mean, you just go all night, like you could.
As you said to me, you sent me one, which I love, which I'll bring up. And you said, because the question of the differences between like what makes somebody a good like light language practitioner and what makes somebody a bad light language practitioner, because it's like I speak kind of okay German, but there's like a good German and there's like a bad German, and light language, it's like where because it's
What's
made
the
up
metric?
And because it's not a real language that you can learn in the traditional sense.
That's right.
And then you sent me this woman and you said some of it is great because some people are just shit at it, and it's funny because you can't, because it's funny. So I'll play this and then we can discuss why this is bad light language as opposed to like the actual G's who are really dope at it.
Yeah, like I think the one you started with, what's her name again? The German one. She's actually
she's great.
She's actually got
amazing.
She's got a cadence. She's got a vocal range.
Yeah, cadence, good. You want some strong plosives.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
it's
strong,
quite pleasant and compelling to listen to, even though it's nonsense.
It can't be too soft mouth. Like you can't go like You have to. It has to be quite percussive. You can't go. You have to go like a fucking kookaburra.
And you've got to be able to sort of improvise a succession of syllables that sound varied and kind of varied both in terms of the sound you're making and in terms of the cadence, enough to mimic language. Like if I just went dee 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 ba 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 ba, Nobody would buy that.
But you're right in that you recognize it. Like even though it's made up, the sounds are familiar enough that when it comes up on your timeline, you go, "Oh, that's meant to be light language."
Yeah, exactly.
Because it says that's kind of it. But you sent me this.
I'd love to have an account just doing shit ones where I go
Oh. Yeah, I've been inhabited by the blue avians. Ooh, ha, 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 ooh. And then people like commenting going, "That's not blue avian. What do you do?" You're not a blue avian.
Sometimes people do comment and say, if this is a language, then you should be able to just repeat the exact sequence twice in a row, which of course nobody can do because they're just improvising it.
Let me bring up the shit one that you sent me. You sent me and you just said, "Look, this lady's really shit at it," which is great.
And then there's sometimes people are just like Bashar, who's actually also quite talented, are just channeling people as well. And we'll get to somebody who I think is quite bad at that, maybe.
Here you go. She does a bit of Morse code. Here.
Yeah, exactly. She's just doing like traditional laser gun noises. Not quick enough.
Yeah, it's the same sounds. I think that's the problem. Is there's not enough variation. She's got here at the end of the where she just does like the machine gun, the child machine gun noise. She's put here, if you're a starseed or light worker, don't ever stop doing what you're doing. Don't hide. I'm saying do hide. If you are gainfully employed, do not be doing that because you'll end up in HR's office for
That's
sure.
Right.
You should be
definitely hide.
I wonder how many open star seeds are high up at Goldman Sachs. It's probably not a ton.
It's true. It's true. They should be making bank and then shipping it to their off-world colonies, you'd think. But, so she's bad. And then there's another kind of, we might come to Bashar, but there's another one you'll see the next link down from her, who's this woman purporting to, I'll send it to you again if you like, who's purporting to be like a messenger from one of these councils. They're always talking about councils.
It's very Star Wars. They've all seen Star Wars.
So they're always, I'm getting the direct feed, kind of like in their, UN people's ears. They're getting the direct feed from the Galactic Palladian Syrian
from the lower house.
Exactly.
I would love if somebody said that they were like channeling the council and it was just really dreary kind of the inner workings of the political
just like
system.
Can I ask the honourable member to turn to tab 4?
Page 46. And like nobody's turned up that day for the sitting because it's like really boring.
It's
not even
just procedural.
Like the press has just like sent the intern to cover the session because none of it's like some traffic thing. And that's who they end up just channeling during the council.
And the Palladians would like to congratulate the staff of the Syrian Avian Library. So this is a person, if you wouldn't
go on.
Do that. It's a person.
Oh yes,
it's a person
this was viral. This went viral. I've seen this on many accounts.
The Great Council of Light.
Maybe you can just a brief intro to this, John, so that we know just.
So this is a guy
we're about to watch.
This is a guy named Sean Mike Kelly who has a podcast not unlike us, and I wish that we could get these kinds of people on. And he's got this woman on, and she's a guest on the show, obviously, and she is essentially mid-channel, and she's channeling one of these councils. But I would say we might contrast her with Bashar, who some people will know about, who I think has
Paul Anka's brother.
Yeah, Paul Anka's brother. That's so wild. Who I think has a bit of a knack as a performance artist, whereas this woman is just like someone who's in her first improv class and she's struggling a bit. And they've said, can you just channel an alien council? And she's kind of gone, and everyone in the room would just be like shifting uncomfortably in their seats.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, she's just watched Bashar videos and gone, oh, I can probably access that council as well.
Yeah.
Bashar. So this is
it's quite hard to watch.
I love also that Sean Kelly's caption for the video, he's just written, "What does the Great Council of Light have to say?"
Yeah.
Question mark. So this is her channeling the Great Council.
Mm-hmm.
We are here. We are very happy to be here. Yes, indeed, dear one. Yes, we are here. Yes, we do have a message for you and your community in the world. There will be a shift that will happen on your planet. The frequencies of your world will shift dynamically. We implore you now. Understand, you are in control of your individual experience, your individual frequency, your individual understanding for now. You can create what you desire for your future. I am merely existing in a frequency that is higher and better. Know that we are here to support you through this shift of humanity. Nothing's happening to you. It is for you and the betterment of humankind's experience.
Yeah. So she has obviously just gone, she's just watched Gandalf and then gone, that's going to be my council. Is thou shalt not pass.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, she's got there's a bit of like Boris Johnson in there somewhere, I think.
Yeah, it's mostly she's gone Tory. She's gone Tory. It's a Tory council.
It's true. Just drinking port on a Chesterfield and someone saying, "I will support humanity through this shift."
We definitely should. I'll just go on a TikTok. I wonder if I just put in Bashar. Yeah, I wonder if it's Bashar al-Assad who comes up, or if it is the real. No, here he is. He calls up. Daryl Anka is his real name. Now let's get him up here on, because he is. So maybe we've mentioned him before. So here I have him. I think this is his official channel, I think, on Instagram. A quasi-physical being speaking through the channel, Daryl Anka, from what we perceive as the future. So Daryl Anka, Paul Anka's brother, claims to channel an extraterrestrial being called Bashar.
Yeah.
And fucking hell. And here we have a post from 3 hours ago. It was edited.
Wow.
And it says here, less than 4 weeks ago, join Bashar live on the East Coast. This is your opportunity to be part of Bashar's first in-person East Coast event in years. And it's happening in June in Inglewood, New Jersey, I think this is. And so I can tell you what that's going to be is you would buy a ticket and you would go to some fucking hall and you sit in the hall and then Daryl comes out and he goes, "Hey everybody, it's me, Daryl." And then he says, "This is just going to take me a sec, but I'm going to open my channel and Bashar's going to crawl in." And then he goes, and then
he
Bashar
hasn't seen that. And it's like that. It's like he's kind of a slightly painful. He gets this kind of very pained look on his face.
Yes, and maybe I can find. I want to see him with an audience. Bashar channeling Paul Anka. I want to see, because it's quite something. Like people ask him questions.
Yeah.
And then he kind of answers. He gives the wisdom of. It's not the Daryl Anka. Oh, here we go. It's not the Daryl Anka here we go. He's going to explain it for himself. Hopefully he shows a little bit of we can see a bit of this. So this is him. This is from the words. I'm not sure if this is. I guess you're going to probably get a bit of Daryl here and a bit of Bashar as well. So this is he. One moment, John. Here we go.
Okay. I am channel for an entity known as Bashar. I am also a writer, producer, director.
Oh, mate. What does he find the time?
I was in my early 20s when on 2 occasions in broad daylight, a week apart, I had 2 very close UFO sightings with friends with me both times. The first time was only about 125 feet away. The second time was only about 60 or 70 feet away. Some kind of an advanced technological ship. No sound, being able to move in unusual ways. You don't think much of it until you actually see something yourself. And then your whole world turns upside down because those things weren't supposed to really exist. But seeing something like that solidly made me realize that things were much different than we were being told. So I wanted to find out more about it.
So that's just a bit of an intro. Now here is basically what you get for your money. So
you go to a Bashar conference. And you go to Bashar-a-Palooza.
You get a backstage pass to Bashar-a-Palooza. This is what you get.
There he is.
What a little second to you this day of your time. How are you all?
Woo! Woo! Here he is.
He's in.
Once again, we express our deepest gratitude and appreciation to each and every one of you individually and all of you together.
Yes, just so people understand what's happened. What I just played earlier, that was him as Daryl, just explaining how he occasionally channels this extraterrestrial entity called Bashar. And what you just saw at the start of this video, or heard at the start of that audio clip, he sits, he opens the channel, and he allows Bashar to come in. So he's now Bashar. So the audience is, and you can tell that because he does the Angela Merkel, like, that's how you know. The difference is he'll close his eyes and he does like the Angela Merkel hands, and then that's how you can tell the difference between Daryl and Bashar. so now he's Bashar.
Collectively for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission at this time. We would, speaking of allowance, like to begin this transmission on the subject of allowance and explain a formula by which you can maximize the synchronicity in your life. By using allowance in a very specific way, we call this, at least for now, the AAA formula.
So why can't Bashar just talk in a kind of dreary tone? Why does he have to talk like a kind of annoying intellectual? Why is that? Why is that the cadence? Yeah, he's got. So Daryl's like, "Hey everybody, it's me, Daryl. I'm just Paul Anka's brother." But then suddenly, I am Bashar, and I got a bit of.
He's got a bit of sass.
He's got sass.
The audience does. When, it's like somebody will say to him, "Hi, my name's John from Minnesota, and I'm worried about my grandfather died, and he's still alive somewhere." And then they'll get like Bashar will kind of answer by giving them like a bunch of sassy rhetorical questions, like, "Well, when you lose your wallet is still somewhere," and it's like it's kind of like why can't he just calmly explain it?
Yeah, he's kind of like, "Are you stupid?"
It's true. That woman who we saw earlier on Sean's podcast, she's just taken that, kind of turn the hamminess up to 11, and it's just got a little bit out of hand.
That's what you're gonna do, like, because of course it's not captivating.
No.
Like, imagine if the alien entity was just like way more chill than so the person themselves is quite animated. They're like, oh, you know, I channel this alien entity and it's crazy. Let me get them in, and it just goes, hi everyone, it's me, Chris, the alien.
And they go, what about, like, is my grandfather, what happens when he dies? He goes, I don't fucking know. I'm no better off. I'm more able to answer that question than you. I just live on a different planet. I don't have any special knowledge.
Totally nonchalant.
My only thing I've figured out that you haven't figured out is how to inhabit the body of Paul Anka's brother. Other than that, the universe is a mystery.
What an odd choice.
Yeah.
Why not Paul? Just inhabit him.
Put your head on my shoulder. Yeah, I wonder if there's a bit of kind of sibling rivalry. Paul's career started to take off.
Yeah.
And Bashar was just like, well, fuck you. I'm inhabited by an alien. So everyone stop listening to Paul.
What a fucking Thanksgiving that must be. Thanksgiving, the Anchor boys. And obviously Bashar must turn up because Bashar loves green bean casserole. So Bashar's gonna come through during Thanksgiving, and fucking poor Paul is just like head in hands. I find this gravy delicious.
He's like making zingers and ripping into the chef. Oh, is this turkey meant to be so dry?
The conditions down here on Earth must be particularly dry for the way that the turkey is tasting in my mouth. Why, turkey on my planet is delicious.
Oh God.
Bashar. So it's yeah.
So one thing I wanted to talk about, we've got a bit of a sense now of what it's defined broadly as, or the kind of looseness of its definition, and who are the main characters.
Yeah.
But it's funny how, what's interesting to me is, like, what are the kind of cultural conditions that have to exist before you can look at someone who's just obviously making a bunch of improvised mouth sounds and waving their arms about and feel like maybe they've got something to offer and they're actually doing something substantial. And I think that, as with a lot of these things, and, humanity has a long history of doing this. Like, it's kind of the latest iteration of talking in tongues, really. It's like
it's exactly, John. And it feels like I think if you don't know it's light language and you see somebody you've never heard light language, when you see it, you go, "Oh, this is talking in tongues."
Exactly. And so there's something about humans that makes us love the idea that we're suddenly struck by some spiritual entity that makes us talk in a language that is indecipherable to, normal people's ears, but is somehow contains kind of the secrets of the universe. That's like just a kind of earworm in our psychology that we can't seem to get rid of. And this is basically it. But obviously it's also, as I alluded to earlier, as you did too, that, this kind of sense of a way of like recharacterizing or reframing a feeling of being a bit shit or a bit isolated, is you can go, well, it's actually everyone else that doesn't understand. It's everyone else that's the problem. And you are, in fact, not only are you not a shit person, but you're a very special person. And you possess this amazing gift and you've got a deeper understanding than everyone else. And sure, they're all telling you to get a job and go see a therapist, but that's just because you're a starseed and they're just mere mortals, which is a very appealing message, obviously.
I have here, John, common traits attributed to starseeds, as you say. So people who identify as starseeds often believe they feel a deep sense of not belonging on Earth, are highly empathetic or sensitive to energy. Actually, maybe this is a good opportunity for me to just quickly open the Starseed subreddit, which I found, and then we can use that. I can go through the test with you, John. If you're happy to do that, just for a second, if we can work out if you are a starseed. But yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. I think people who are a bit, a bit lost, because you just think, man, how do you end up there? How do you end up on a podcast pretending that you're being channeled by an alien, but you're doing Gandalf? Like, what's happened in her life? Like, if you just took one look, if you just took a look at her life, you just straight away you'd go, oh, okay, there we go.
There've been some setbacks.
There've been a couple of setbacks.
True.
And now you're channeling the great council. And I love that for you.
Yeah, it is funny. You hear that in people's stories, because they'll often have like a bit of a, a lot of people have been asking me, how did you find out you're a starseed, or how did you start speaking light language? I mean, not all of them couch it in terms of stars, in terms of aliens. Some of them it's angels or just the divine or whatever, who's sending them messages that they're expressing by way of light language. But they always have some story of like, being at the bottom of the barrel, or having hit rock bottom, or for some of them, they just describe things which are pretty clearly to me some sort of, psychiatric event. They're like, oh, I was at a music festival and I hadn't slept in 3 days, and then suddenly I realized that I could speak light language. It's like, should have just gone to the ambulance tent.
You just needed a little sit down and some water.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You just needed to sit with the St. John's volunteers for a couple of hours with a
saline
wet saline drip and a wet flannel. You're not a blue avian. So this is from the subreddit Starseeds. So the Starseed community gathers on the Starseed subreddit.
Yeah.
What are Starseeds and how do I know if I am one? So this is the guide for us, John, and also everyone at home. So first, let me start off by saying we are all equally divine, and being a Starseed doesn't make us more special or worthy than others. That's obviously not true. Like, that's the whole that's the whole point.
Why bother then?
This subject should be approached with humbleness for the should that be humility, or is humbleness is humbleness a word?
I suppose I tend to say humility, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for people that purport to be amazing at language.
Don't worry about light language. Just get the basics down first.
For the purpose of self-inquiry and realization, and not to boost our ego.
Okay.
So, and then it says Starseeds are in a broad sense, a simple soul to originate.
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
This isn't just an ego trip, okay? It's like, no one said it was. Now I think it is.
Exactly. Starseeds are in a broader sense simply souls who I love this. They're simply souls who originated from other planets, you idiot, in other star systems, as opposed to our souls native to Gaia. Narrow definition, more specifically, the term starseed refers to a group of highly evolved, this is not egocentric at all, highly evolved souls who answered Gaia's call for help and decided to come to Earth. Also, Gaia, who I'm assuming is like the Earth goddess, calls the intergalactic starseeds, and they hear the call.
Premise of Planeteers.
Yeah, it is. I think, isn't this what? Was it Marty? Was Marty one of them?
Was he the heart one? It's just a bunch of heart
him,
people.
Yeah. In order to they come to support humanity in their liberation and ascension process, shining their light into the darkness to transmute duality from within. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we go. So some signs. So I might also little bit of safety information. If you are driving, you might want to pull over to the side of the road for this, because if you realize in the next few seconds that you're a starseed, that could be enough.
Could be the last thing that goes through your mind.
Do not.
I'm a starseed.
Do not operate. Do not. As the light post just pierces your brain as you drive into it. Signs you might be a starseed. So, John, do you experience any of these? Have you a deep longing for home, for peace and harmony? Yeah, I'm like, sure. having trouble fitting in with society, sensing the inherent fakeness of the system. Well, that's something that we talk about a lot here
it's
on
true.
the show.
All right.
Do you have a thirst to find meaning in life and an understanding of our reality? Mate, these people, they got me. Feeling somehow wise beyond your age.
Yeah.
This is not ego. It's got nothing to do with ego, everybody. The desire to help others and be of service to humanity, naturally. A great capacity to love and feel joy, but also often a very traumatic childhood and a rather difficult healing journey.
You know what's weird is this is the same things that the Scientologists asked me when I went and had my Thetans tested.
Yeah, right. That's very true. Huge empathy for others, very intuitive and sensitive, spiritually inclined, and affinity for nature, feeling called to greatness and to make a positive impact on the world.
You have any of these?
Many of these, and then it has
ADHD or be a starseed.
And then it has here a general absence of critical thinking is the very last point. The last point there. And then it says how to find your origin. So I think like it even goes deeper. Like maybe you can find which one. Because I actually have a bunch. So we have Palladian. They're gentle, peaceful, and nurturing. Arcturian, wise and technologically advanced. Syrian, again with an I. I just love that. Like. That sounds like Syrian, as in people from Syria. Syrian, spiritually deep, focused on freedom, and then Andromedan, Lyran, and of course, as we always say, the bad boys of the bunch, Blue Avian.
The rebellious punks of the starseed world.
So that was.
Just try, just try channeling one of them. They'll be like, "Get fucked. I'm busy."
Down with homework, dude. Parents suck. That's Blue Avians. Staying up. They're staying up well past their bedtime. Blue Avians.
Exactly.
So I'm just checking my links here, John. If there's anything else that we need to share with anyone.
Cover. I mean look, the main thing I would say to people is definitely just get on board and you will see there's a wide variety of practitioners. Of course, the other advantage of this, the other secret of success, as I've touched on perhaps, is that it's such a kind of low effort way of demonstrating some special skill. It basically requires a little bit of improvisation, and you can sort of, I get the sense a lot of these people actually think they are the real deal and are not just ripping people off. But if you were inclined to, con people into thinking, you're able to access something or develop something, then, you choose a way of doing that, which just is premised on you just kind of randomly giving them a bit of gibberish and then telling them it was something special, because that's, you don't have to write a holy book. You don't have to invent a hierarchy or tenets or a moral code. You can just sort of talk about platitudes that are very kind of generic and superficial and appeal to everyone, and then just sound like Jabba the Hutt.
There's no Starseed Vatican, thank God.
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to elect a new. Well, they do. The council is somewhere that you can't. There's off. It's very convenient that the council is not like a council that is under any public scrutiny.
It's
like
true.
It's on another planet somewhere. You can't see it.
Yeah, it's very undemocratic. Actually, now that I think
it's very undemocratic. So, John, let's have a go. What about that?
Okay, sure.
I was thinking. I shouldn't say thinking. Channeling.
Yeah, don't think.
I was
thinking is the enemy of light language.
I'm actually going to try and do. Like, I wonder if I would pass. Like, if I went on Instagram and I did a bit of. Like, there needs to be longer reverb. That's a special cat. Meow, meow, meow.
It's the feline, those feline.
Aruga! Aruga! Army hearties.
Moo.
Moo. Go. Army hearties. Soothing ocean noises.
Maybe I'll have a crack as well. I think I've developed some skills in this area by virtue of having a 4-month-old child, because you do this thing which I learned to do from the maternal and child health nurse, where children who don't have language yet, but they do this thing called proto conversation, which is basically light language, where she'll say things like "hee ba ba ba," and then my job is to kind of repeat that back to her so that she can hear what it sounds like coming from someone else, and also so that she gets this sense of like, you've said something and now I've said something. So I'm very attuned to the unique pleasures.
Daddy's just channeling the light council, honey.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I'm just filling her head with a bunch of junk from as early as possible. And sometimes she'll say to me, "Goo ga ga ga," and I say, "Excuse me, is that any way to talk to your father?"
Honey, I think she's Palladian. I knew it. Have a fucking starseed reveal party the next weekend. Exactly. She's Arcturian.
We had a little party recently to introduce her to a few people who hadn't met her before, and I would have loved to say, just freak everyone out. And we've worked out that she's a Palladian starseed.
That'd be so good. Just terrify your family. But yeah, so you've got so you do a bit of this with Innes, your child.
Yeah, I go. Chadaduga sana neno chani. I prefer that kind of the more the monarch, coach monarch.
I love that would, because that is slightly not baby talk, which I love as well, that you should just totally do that instead of baby and that, because people will recognize it. You can go, I just love doing a baby talk with Innes.
Yeah.
Babies love this. Babies love this when you talk baby talk to them, when you go, hey,
people start screaming. I'd love to do that with other people's kids. It's like, oh, she's beautiful.
Oh, she's Syrian. I think she's Syrian. What the fuck? Why is John's definitely not holding our child again?
Yeah, exactly.
He did some weird talking in tongues, and then said that she was Syrian. We had to ask him to leave. Take her away. That's your last hold. That's your last hold of our baby. Thanks, John.
That's right.
Well, everybody, if you figured out that you were a starseed, we'd love to hear from you. And I can also recommend, get over there on the subreddit for Starseeds. And if you're on social media, then you definitely want to go into the search bar and search for either Starseed or Light Language. And a lot of the celebrities that we've mentioned today will definitely pop up, because they are really the big names in the scene. So you'll find a bunch of them, and we would love to hear from you. You can get us at hello@dptm.org. That is my Arcturian email address.
Or if you want to, I will just be receiving messages between 7 and 8 p.m. every day. So if you want to communicate
open the
directly,
channel.
Yeah, if you want to communicate directly. Or for those of you who are Tier 1 Patreon subscribers, of course, you can have access to my body.
That's right.
For up to 2 hours a day. You can be the Bashar to my anchor.
John will channel you. If you are a top tier member on Patreon, patreon.com/DPTM, then not only do you get a t-shirt after 2 months of top tier membership, which I've sent a bunch of them out this week, actually. There's a bunch of Don't Praise the Machine t-shirts out there on the way, and they really do suit a Starseed. So
Yeah.
if you're a top tier member on Don't Praise the Machine Patreon, you will get a t-shirt and you get access to John during the week. He will, you put a calendar invite, and John will say, look, these are the times that I have free. Like, I'm being channeled. Like, I've got 2 members in me like early on Tuesday, but I got 12 o'clock free for an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Free for an hour. Or even just, you know, if you want to start with a 15-minute session, see what I'm up to. Free. Yeah. And you can
a discovery session.
Exactly. You can just do a kind of read-only session where you watch through my eyeballs as I wash the dishes, or
John Malkovich.
Exactly.
John Malkovich was a Starseed to John Cusack.
Yeah, that's right. But thank you very much for joining us on another Don't Praise the Machine deep dive, and may I say to all of you, Ratatita Fukachiso
Sakaripta.